here, and I'm just coming to you from Houston, Texas, in my backyard. And I was just actually out here about to check my garden to see if it needs watering. And uh, I'm not much of a gardener, but the guy who put our garden in, he just told us to make sure we water it about 15 minutes every day for the first few weeks, and then as plants start to grow more and more, then we'll be able to kind of slack off of the watering just a bit. We did get quite a bit of a rain the other day. It was pretty, uh, pretty bad actually. And so I'm kind of out here today just checking to see, number one, if it needs any watering, and then number two, if the plants are okay, because it was quite a bit of rain, and it looks like it's still pretty moist. So I'm not going to water it today. Um, but just take a quick look. I don't know exactly what kind of plants or what, but as far as I know, I think we have about 70 some odd plants out here. You can tell the difference between the weeds and the plants. That's a weed right there. That's a plant. That's a plant. Oh, actually, I think he put tags down so we know which one what is. So that's pretty cool. So you can see my garden is at the very beginning of the process, or very beginning of the stage. We can't pick any fruit off of any of these, number one, because, or any vegetables. Number one, because nothing has grown. It isn't strong enough to grow any vegetables yet. But this is definitely something worth celebrating, because as you can see, we have a garden that has started, and that's awesome. I mean, you want to celebrate the things in the beginning, and when you start seeing them come up out of the ground. There's a few rows that had anything planted in them yet, and others that have had something planted in them, but they just haven't come out of the ground yet. But still, all the more reason to pay attention to it, and continue to celebrate, and not just celebrate, but continue to watch it, feed it, uh, harvest it, and do whatever else you're supposed to do. Now, I'm not much of a gardener, so I'm probably using some of the wrong words, but um, when you pay enough attention to it, then eventually, and one day I'll come out here and show. Eventually, if we take care of this, we're going to have a garden full of plants, full of vegetables, and full of fruit. I know we do have some papaya out here, some papaya trees. Uh, we have some, I believe, peppers, jalapeno peppers, or bell peppers, or something. I don't know. I know we have some kind of peppers here. We have okra, and I don't even like okra except for when it's in gumbo. I don't know how many of you know what gumbo is, but uh, it's some pretty good stuff out here. Whoa, I just stepped on an ant bed. Those kind of happen often around gardens too, so I gotta make sure that I just stirred it up too. Look, all those ants. See, the ants aren't good for the garden. Ants aren't good for the garden. Now, the reason why I wanted to come out here, number one, like I said, I was checking on the garden, but but just like this garden is starting, just like there's no fruit on these different plants and vegetables, or different fruit and vegetable plants, these trees, these bushes, whatever they are. There's nothing on here yet, but when we keep on watering it and keep making sure that we put the right nutrients in it, then eventually they start producing fruit and vegetables, and we can benefit from that. We'll be able to eat and cook and have our own things, and we won't have to go to Kroger or Walmart or whatever grocery store. We won't have to go there as often, because we'll have our own fruit. That's what it's like when you're building your own business, and when you're working from home. It starts off looking just like my garden, where there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of unidentifiable plants, and that's often what it feels like. I mean, you come out here, if you're hungry, you can't really do anything with these right now. You got to get food from somewhere else. So whenever my wife and I, whenever we're hungry, uh, we don't come to the backyard, not yet. We go to, the store and pick up some stuff to either cook, or we go to eat out, or we'll go to a fast food place and bring it home. Uh, but we can't actually pick from back here yet. Now, um, what we're not going to do is we're not going to just forget about this garden just because there's no fruit on it yet. You know, That wouldn't make any sense because we did put in a lot of effort where we didn't, but the guy who put it down, he put in a lot of effort digging up this grass and replacing it and putting down the right kind of dirt and right kind of soil and tilling it and everything. There was a lot of work that actually got it to this point where we could actually plant. The weather had to be right and all that stuff in order to plant it down. We actually had to wait about a week because it was there was a big storm that we had initially when we were going to get everything put down. And again, that's how life is. That's how our business is, And oftentimes, what happens is we try to get people. We'll look at the trees down the street that have the same kind of fruit that we want, and we spend our time frustrated because they have fruit and we don't. You know, Someone asked me recently. They asked me why don't I share some of the things that I'm actually doing to get some of the results I'm getting. Recently I began to generate some organic leads, which was pretty cool. And I can tell you right now, I've been blogging. I've been blogging, and I've been making sure that people see my blog, and part of a syndication group. And also I've been spending time in different forms, creating relationships in the different parts of social media. And so I've been getting friend requests, and I've been um, getting people to opt into my pages. Just today, I looked and I saw that there were uh, three more organic leads, three or four more organic leads, and then from an ad, there was also about 25 other leads that came in. That's good stuff. But here's the reality of it: I didn't start there. I started just like you see my garden. I started with nothing but dirt, and I had to till the ground. And see, you don't want to sabotage your own journey by leaving your garden alone. There's food that we can get from, and there's traffic we can get from everywhere else, and that's good, because we have to eat. So definitely, and I'll be talking about this in the coming days. I'll be talking about good places and how to find fast traffic and good traffic, because all fast traffic isn't good traffic, and all good traffic isn't fast. But there is a such thing as good traffic that is fast. But it is going to take some work, and it's going to take some effort to actually find that traffic, because not all traffic is created equal. Uh, but there's a reason why people won't follow you. And we talked about this a few days ago, and I said I was going to get to this. I've just been having so many things coming into my mind, but finally I get a chance to kind of talk about the reason why people won't follow you. The reason why people won't do what they said they do. People lie to someone who's not important. I mean, I hate it. I hate to say that, but that's just the reality. People will say, "Oh yeah, man, I look at it," and you're not important enough, so they don't. And so the question is then, what do we do? How do we get to the point where we're no longer deemed as unimportant, or where we're no longer viewed as someone who is not worth listening to or not worth following? Um, that is where we come. That's where we are right now. Uh, and so, you know, work on your garden. Continue working on your garden. Continue watering your garden. Look, just because there's no fruit on any of those trees right now, no vegetables showing up, doesn't mean that it's not coming. It doesn't mean I'm doing something wrong because you can't see any fruit. So don't abandon the garden. Keep watering the garden. Right now, we have to get our food somewhere else. Right now, we have to get our food from other places that grow their food and then sell it. You know, but how long does that last? How long can we survive off of other people's fruit and off of other people's uh, work? You know, Grow this, and eventually people will be coming to our backyard asking if they could have some papayas. They're going to be calling and seeing, hey, do you guys have any green beans back there? Hey, look, we're making a dish, and we got we got to put some okra in there. Do you guys have any extra okra? And that's the beautiful part. Um, but when we continue in the direction that we're going, your audience will find you. Your audience will definitely find you. Uh, People will lie and They'll say anything, but don't get addicted to the results. Don't get addicted to, sometimes people are lying just because they're not interested in it, and they just suck at saying no. You know, they you know they just have a bad way of saying no. They don't know how to say no. You know, build your list one person at a time, two people at a time, however, and follow up with the list. Follow up with them. That's your garden. Your list is your garden. Your list is literally your garden. Now, uh, some of these plants that we got, they were actually brought over from another garden, and they were put here. But then some others we actually started growing ourselves. You know, uh, when when a plant is transferred from one ground to another ground, there's a whole lot of stress and a whole lot more attention that has to be paid to it. Um, when we generate leads, that when we generate leads from you know from track from our own content, videos and blogs, then those are stronger leads. When we buy leads or when we buy traffic, that's like transferring something over, and we've got to pay a whole lot more attention actually to those, and we got to follow up with those because they don't know who you are. They don't know who we are, and so uh, continue to work on branding you and building up your value. Learn something every single day. How do you do that? Read. Read something positive. Read something that's going to teach you something, and then talk about it. Teach it. It doesn't matter how it is. Don't focus on trying to build up your whole castle. Don't get mad because someone else has a house that's 9 times the size of yours. Just build yours one brick at a time. Take one step. The journey of 1,000 miles, it always starts with just one step. I hope this has helped you out. I got to get out of this sun because it's starting to get in my eyes, and plus I'm walking around a whole lot of ant beds and spiders and everything. But just take this to heart, uh, and I'll be back tomorrow to give you to kind of further this along and talk about some things how we can actually make the. Somebody said you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Well, tomorrow I want to talk about some key principles that will literally, uh, not only take the horse to water, but that will uh, get him to the point where he has to drink. Because the horse will drink water if you put enough salt in his food. And so tomorrow we'll talk about how to salt up your horse's food. All right? We'll talk to you later on. Look, if this information has helped you out, then go ahead and leave a comment below, and um, share it with your social media family, friends, and followers. And that'd be so grateful. That'd be so awesome. I appreciate you as usual for spending time with me, and I look forward to talking with you on tomorrow. Bye for now.